Right now, a thick cloud of seclusion and intense whispers is completely swallowing a once glamorous couple. The relentless fallout of unsealed files has pushed their lives behind closed doors, turning their high society status into a radioactive nightmare. But while the cameras focus on the family chaos, no one is talking about the man who stepped directly into this firestorm. He is an elite mastermind running a real estate empire worth over $800 million. He played by his own rules, but the shadowy timeline of how he got here and the current breaking point in his marriage were never meant to be exposed. Is this ultra-wealthy developer about to abandon ship, or are the secrets between them pulling them under?
He wasn't exactly a blank slate when he stepped into the royal spotlight. In fact, the man who would become a fixture in the monarchy was already building a life with someone else, a woman many say was his perfect match. She was a brilliant Harvard graduate, a world-renowned architect, and the mother of his young son. They had been together for years, shared a home, and by all accounts were heading straight for the altar. But then, everything shifted with a speed that left high society circles reeling. The timeline of what happened next is where things get truly dark. Rumors began to swell that while he was still living under the same roof as his fiancée, he was already cultivating a very private connection with a princess. It wasn't just a simple breakup, it was a total collapse of one life to make room for another. People close to the situation couldn't help but notice how the ink hadn't even dried on his previous relationship before he was being photographed at the most exclusive royal events. But here's the part they tried to keep out of the headlines. While the public saw a whirlwind romance, those in the inner circle were whispering about a calculated overlap that most commoners would never get away with. His ex-fiancée has remained famously silent, never publicly addressing the sting of being replaced by royalty in a matter of weeks. But the silence only made the questions louder. Was this a genuine case of star-crossed lovers, or was it a strategic move by a man who knew exactly which ladder he wanted to climb? The mystery only deepens when you realize this wasn't their first meeting, because behind the glitz of their public debut lies a hidden history, a secret bond forged in the middle of a family tragedy that changed everything. This was never a fairy tale coincidence. While the world was sold a story of a modern-day chance encounter, the truth is far more calculated. The man who stepped into the royal fold didn't just appear out of thin air, he was born into a web of power that most people can't even imagine. By the age of 22, while most people are just starting their careers, he was already flipping multi-million-dollar real estate projects. By 30, he was the mastermind behind a nearly billion-dollar property empire. But wealth wasn't the only thing he was building. He was weaving himself into the very fabric of the establishment long before the public ever saw his face. His stepfather wasn't just a businessman, he was a titan of industry with direct lines to the highest levels of government. We're talking about a man who was a trusted confidant to a prime minister and an even closer friend to the inner royal circle. But then, a sudden tragedy in 2011 changed everything. It was a moment that should have stayed private, but instead it became the secret foundation for everything that followed. At his stepfather's funeral, surrounded by the absolute elite of British society, he crossed paths with the princess. They weren't strangers, they were part of the same shadow world where everyone knows everyone's secrets. While the cameras were focused elsewhere, a bond was being forged in the middle of a family's darkest hour, a connection that remained hidden from the public for years. But as they moved closer to making it official, a dark cloud began to gather over their future.
They were planning a wedding that was supposed to be the event of the decade. Instead, it became a desperate race to hide from a scandal that was about to explode and destroy everything they had worked for. Their marriage was under a dark cloud from the very first day. While the world expected a grand royal spectacle at Buckingham Palace, the reality behind the scenes was a desperate scramble to hide from the spotlight. In early 2020, just as the couple was preparing for their moment, a massive, explosive scandal involving the princess's father began to tear through the headlines. The optics were so toxic that a public celebration became an impossibility. They were forced to abandon their dreams and retreat into the shadows. Instead of a global event, they settled for a secretive, scaled-down ceremony that felt more like a strategic retreat than a wedding. The princess even bypassed the traditional royal designers, reportedly asking to borrow a dress from the queen just to simplify a situation that was rapidly spiraling out of control. It was a move born out of necessity, a quiet attempt to build a life while the ground was crumbling beneath them. But hiding from the storm only worked for so long. Fast forward to 2026, and that original cloud has turned into a total hurricane, with her father now facing the ultimate legal reckoning and being stripped of every title he once held. The fallout has finally reached the couple's front door. The shame is no longer just a family matter, it's a direct threat to their livelihood. The pressure is mounting to a breaking point that no one saw coming. While she fights to maintain a sense of loyalty to her disgraced parents, her husband is reportedly looking for an exit strategy to protect his own massive business empire. The distance between them is no longer just physical, it's becoming a divide that might be impossible to cross. And as the unsealed files continue to drop, the man who once stood by her side is now making a series of moves that have everyone asking the same question. Is he staying to fight, or is he already planning his final departure? The distance between them has never been wider. While the royal family deals with the absolute devastation of the 2026 unsealed files, the man at the center of the storm has been spotted thousands of miles away. Solo trips to luxury hotspots in Florida and Miami have replaced the couple's once constant public appearances. On the surface, it looks like a high-powered businessman handling an international real estate empire. But behind the scenes, insiders are whispering that he's doing more than just closing deals. He's distancing himself from a reputation that has become radioactive. The tension has reached a boiling point over one impossible demand. Reports are surfacing that a line has been drawn in the sand. It's his business empire or her family loyalty. For a man whose status and $800 million turnover are built on elite trust, the association with the disgraced York legacy is becoming a professional death sentence. He is reportedly urging the princess to walk away and cut ties with her parents once and for all to save their own skins. But the weight of a lifetime of loyalty is holding her back, and she is said to be deeply resentful that he would even ask. This isn't just a disagreement, it's a matter of survival. As the legal authorities close in on the inner circle and more embarrassing details from the past emerge, the silence between the couple is becoming deafening. He's already proven he can build an empire from the ground up, but now he's facing the possibility that he can't save this one. Every day he spends in the sun while she navigates the wreckage in London sends a clear message to the world. The cracks are no longer just whispers, they are becoming a canyon. And as the pressure from the palace and the public intensifies, the clock is ticking on a final decision that will change the course of their lives forever. But as the world waits for the official announcement, the question remains, is there anything left to save, or has the damage already been done?
Will this high society power couple survive the absolute destruction of the royal circle around them, or is the distance between them becoming too wide to bridge? For years, they were the picture of a modern elite union, balancing a multi-million-dollar real estate empire with the prestige of the monarchy. But the events of 2026 have changed the rules of the game, with the unsealed files exposing a past they can't run from and a father whose legacy is now a global scandal. The pressure on their marriage has reached an undeniable breaking point. The solo trips, the deleted social media posts, and the whispered ultimatums suggest that even an $800 million fortune might not be enough to buy their way out of this crisis. As they navigate a world where they are no longer welcome at the most traditional royal gatherings, like this year's Easter service at Windsor, the reality is setting in. They are being forced to choose between the family they were born into and the future they are trying to build together. Whether they can find a middle ground, or if this is the beginning of a final permanent separation, is something only time will reveal. One thing is certain, the fairy tale is over, and the battle for survival has just begun.